Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me? All right. Aside from this Zoom meeting, we also have our free webinar through our Facebook, which is of Virtudesk. Okay, so we have around 35 participants. I am sure that some of the other joiners are still maybe on the way to joining. So hopefully they can still watch at least half of this webinar. But don't worry because we always have our webinar replays a week after this webinar, which will be next Friday. Okay, so it seems that we are already live on Facebook. Let's officially start our webinar for tonight. I can see that some of you are watching from different cities in Manila. So I am very much happy that you get to join this kind of webinar, especially that this is for free and this would really help your career, whether what to choose in the next couple of years. Anyways, happy Friday. And today is the last Friday for the month of May. So by next week, that's going to be June already. So we're welcoming June with these kind of webinar that would really help you to decide what you want to be or what career would you like to choose. So I would like to share my screen to present to you tonight's topic for our webinar. Okay, can I get a thumbs up if you guys can see my screen? Thank you. Okay, so our topic for tonight is mastering virtual assistants, which I think it's very relevant with the number of people increasing every day who wants to be a virtual assistant. So I will be sharing essential strategies for efficiency and excellency. So when you say efficient, this is when you work comfortably, you work at ease, you work peacefully, and that means that you're working organized and everything is prepared. Excellence means that you do everything with integrity, meaning that you still do what's the right thing even though no one's looking. And excellency means that you want to strive for at least almost 100% of your output. Let's go ahead and discuss first today's topic or agenda. So we will be sharing to you how to be hired. That's first and foremost. I know some of you are really anxious when it comes to interviews. Next is social media strategy, since this is one of the most in-demand skills in the virtual assistance industry. So we will be sharing with you tips and also guides on how to basically start on how to be a social media manager. Next is we will be reviewing interview tips or do's and don'ts, powerful tools for virtual assistants. I will be also discussing the available positions here at Virtudesk. Lastly, the frequently asked questions. And we'll be spending at least a couple of minutes by the end of this webinar to discuss some of your questions. Okay, so I know that the webinar agenda that we have right now compared to the previous webinar, it's a little bit lesser than usual because we want to make sure that we get to really focus on each topic, instead of just doing Q&A or whatsoever. We want to focus more on leveling up your skills and your knowledge about these specific tasks and responsibilities. So first is we will be defining what is a virtual assistant. That means I want to ask each and every one of you what comes into your mind when you hear the word virtual assistant. So I know that the definition is on the screen, but I would just like to hear it from you guys. Like, what are your thoughts about the word VA or virtual assistant? Yes, a virtual assistant. That is also one of the most in demand skills in the industry, appointment setting. This is good for businesses because appointment setting helps the clients to have more customers, patients. Sometimes appointment setting is through healthcare. Sometimes it can also be through real estate. And sometimes it can be to like just basically booking appointments for your client. Yes, virtual secretary. That is correct. Extension of the client. Yes, that is so true because I do believe, just for me, for my own preferences, that sometimes the success of a certain client would also be it actually helps if they have a virtual assistant because their success also can be one of the factors in choosing their virtual assistants. So as you can see on the screen, that the virtual assistant is an independent contractor who provides administrative services. Again, it's administrative services to clients while operating outside of the client's office. So basically, you're not working in a physical office. You're working, let's say, online through computers, through phones, or the current technologies that we have. So you are not working with them physically, but at the same time, you get to work for them. Okay, that's one of the reasons why it's really a big deal when it comes to interviews. And that's the reason why we ask you what kinds of equipments and what are the specs of the tools that you have. Because we want to make sure that you won't have any problems with the equipments that you have because that is 100% the main thing that you use almost every day when you get to work as a virtual assistant. Okay, because I am hearing some of the applicants like asking why do they need to have like a backup equipment, why do they have to really provide information or specs about their computers. So that's the reason why, guys, we want to make sure that we won't have any problems once we hire you, especially that we already informed you like multiple times that you really do need a computer, you need a laptop, you need a headset or webcam. So we just really want to make sure that you understand it before applying. So next is, what do they do? So there are several tasks and responsibilities that a virtual assistant does. So that involves email management, also outbound cold calling. So that is also related to what you've mentioned earlier, appointment setting, also calendar management. So for calendar management, that means that you get to manage your client's calendar. If they do have meetings, if they do have something important that they need to do on a specific month or date. Graphic designing, this is the art of creating visual contents. That's where we use Canva, which is the most used editing software for what I know right now. Next is also social media management, which we will be discussing later on. Admin tasks. What else? Data entry. So data entry is just basically entering data from a specific document. Okay. So I would like to also ask you guys, which of these tasks or responsibilities are you familiar of? Oh wow, social media management, data entry, graphic design, email management, graphic designing. So I think that some of you are familiar with graphic design because it's actually the most easiest out of them all for me, because when you do graphic design, you can actually experiment with designs, with colors, with textures, with fonts. So it's just really easy, and what you just need to learn is the color theory and how you will match the kind of design to your clients' brands. So let's proceed. Thank you so much, guys, for your answers. So now that you already know the kind of niche or responsibility that you want to focus on, we'll now proceed on how to be hired. Okay? So for you to be hired, you need to assess yourself. That is the first thing that you have to do. So as you can see here on the screen, you have to identify your strengths, your interests, and also you have to set goals. for yourself. Okay? So, meaning for self assessment, that means that you have to make sure that you really know what you want to do, guys. Okay? Because it's going to be asked, especially through interviews. So, for example, you conduct or you attended your interview, and then they are going to be asking you, what's your niche? And then, if you're not yet sure, that would be confusing to the client. Okay? So, that means that if you want to really be hired as a virtual assistant, you have to make sure that you know what you're applying for. You know what you want to do. You know the specific task and responsibilities that you want to do moving forward for your career as a virtual assistant. So I know, guys, that hearing from me, self-assessment sounds easy, right? But for me, based from experience, again, it's based from experience, guys, it's not really easy to assess yourself because sometimes there are things that maybe you like in the past. But then, as we grow, as we mature, as we learn different things, our perception and our vision also changes. So that's very important for you guys to review and to assess and question yourself, what do I really want? Because you don't want to apply, and then if you get tired, you're gonna resign or you're gonna quit. Okay? That's why self-assessment is important, not only in the virtual assistance industry, but anywhere, like any job or any application that you want to. Okay? Next is also career planning that involves setting goals. What do you want to be in the next month? What do you want to be in the next 3 months? What do you want to be next year? So you have to set goals for you to know if whether you are progressing, whether you're able to take one step forward. Okay, setting goals means listing the things that you want to achieve in a specific period of time as well. Okay, so right now, guys, let me question you, what is your goal? Let's say for next year. It's just gonna be easy. For next year, what's gonna be your goal? What is the goal that you want? Because for me, I want to have financial stability. That's really one of my goals, even before, way back before I started. I want to know your answers, guys. To build an apartment for passive income. Oh, wow. I think it's the first time I heard someone mention that here in our webinar. So I think I've heard it from some people as well that an apartment business is it's really good because you're just gonna build an apartment, just make sure that everything has water and electricity, everything is fully furnished, and then you just want to post it online, and then many people would start to ask how much, and then basically you just have to wait for your income every month. But I think as a landowner, or what they call this, an apartment owner or landlady or landlord, you have to make sure that if something maybe was broken, you just have to really fix that because it's for long-term use as well. But that's good. Oh, wow. To support my studies. For my goal is to pay all my debit or utang in Tagalog. To buy a house and lot. Okay, to find a job that I can stay for a long time and support my family. I think this is one of the most interesting goal. We want to make sure that the job that we choose would be for long term and that we're sure that it's not going to be stressful for us. To travel while working, which is something that I am already experiencing, guys, believe it or not. Especially if the equipments that you have is a laptop, you can really explore anywhere as long as you have sufficient internet and electricity. Well, thank you so much, guys, for sharing your answers for that. Work and life balance, that is correct, especially when you're just working from home. All you have to do is just work, and then by the end of your shift, you can just lie down and enjoy the rest of your day. All right, thank you guys for answering. Next is, once you're able to assess yourself and you already envision what your goals are, next is for you to create finally your resume and cover letter. So for that one, by building your resume, you have to create a strong resume. So by creating a strong resume, that means that you want to highlight your skills as well as your previous experiences and achievements. So make sure that you tailor your resume, or you make sure that it would match the certain agency, company, or position that you're applying for. So sometimes it doesn't really require a resume, especially that you are in the design field. So if you are on the side of graphic designing and video editing, it would be better if you're going to be creating a portfolio rather than a resume, because in portfolio you can get to include the projects, some clips of the videos that you've edited before on the specific portfolio. Because in these kinds of jobs, graphic designing and video editing, the client wants to see the outputs that you've done in the past. Next is also write a complex, or what they call that, a compelling cover letter. Sorry. So by creating a cover letter, you get to really highlight and explain yourself. Why do you want to have this job? Okay. So the purpose of having a cover letter is for the employer to check your achievements, your experience, your interest more easier rather than a resume. Okay. So it's good because you really can convince your employer to interview or to hire you based on how you present yourself through the cover letter. Next is once you already created your resume and cover letter, it's time for you to search for a job. That means that for searching for a job, you can use company websites, like agencies like us, Virtudesk. We also have network or leverage professional networks that includes LinkedIn. Also, Online Jobs PH is one of the most used platforms in searching for a virtual assistant job, and also recruiters and staffing agencies. Sometimes these kinds of staffing agencies really requires like a high number of people to work for them. This would work for appointment settings, for cold callings, or for customer service. That's why they really require lots of applicants, because in the call center industry or appointment setting industry, the higher or the higher the number of callers that you have, then the higher the number of possibility as well that you get to have clients or more customers. And lastly is, again, once you get hired, please make sure not to stop improving or not to stop learning. Okay. It is important for a virtual assistant to have continuous improvement. That is for seeking feedback. Make sure to ask feedback from your coworkers, your supervisors, or managers. What can you do more? Or what is one thing that you can do to better yourself? Also, you can learn and adapt. That is, this would be really helpful if you by any chance maybe committed some mistakes along the way. That is perfect for you to learn. Again, guys, it won't hurt you to have some mistakes or to do something that maybe was out of your comfort zone, but believe me or not, it would really help you to get matured and to to really be professional along the way. And for me, I know that some of you are looking at me right now as someone who's like perfect in this kind of industry or job, but believe it or not, guys, I also have my like the days that I feel like I am not 100% motivated. There are also times where in some of my projects also kind of fail, and I also commit mistakes along the way. But again, as someone who's been in the industry for quite some time now, I can say that this is pretty normal. So do not be afraid in exploring and doing something out of your comfort zone, because maybe that is really where you're gonna be learning. Okay? So hopefully you're learning as we go on. Can I get a heart, please, just for me to make sure that you're still listening? All right, thank you so much, guys. So let us now proceed to teaching you on how to manage social media platforms, or how to search for strategies for your social media. Okay, so first, for social media platforms, that includes Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, what else? Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. So first is to research your audience. Okay, so by researching your audience, then you'll get to create graphic designs and contents suitable for the audience that you are targeting. Okay, if the brand that you have is for ladies, then your target audience are, of course, for ladies. If the product that your client is promoting is for men, then your target clients or your target audience is for men as well. Okay, So create buyer personas. This is one way to really tailor your content and your engagement strategies. Okay, develop detailed profiles for your ideal or target market. Okay, next is to choose your right platforms. I know that some of you are thinking that, for example, handling social media management or social media platforms, rather, it would be very effective if you post this kind of video on all the social media platforms. But no, guys, sometimes that is just overpowering, because for example, if they've seen it on YouTube, then they won't really view it on Facebook anymore because they've seen it. So one thing for you to do is to post one content at a time on a specific platform, guys. Okay, maybe the common platforms or the platforms that's good for you would be Facebook, because we have lots of adult viewers on Facebook. So if your target audience maybe are for teens, then maybe you can use TikTok. If your target audience are, let's say, photographers or videographers, then you can post your contents or your designs through Instagram or YouTube. So again, guys, choose the right platform, because not every platform would work for the business or for the brand of your clients. So it takes I won't say experiment, but it would take a couple of tries for you to check and for you to determine the right platform for the business that you have. So platform strengths, again, understand the platform strengths of each social media. So for example, for LinkedIn, it's perfect for those really job hunting professionals, those um, fresh graduates. For Instagram, it's better for visual contents. Instagram for me, it's perfect for those daily quotes or daily motivational quotes. That's what I envision when I hear the word Instagram. For YouTube's, again, that is perfect for those vlogging, for those who are um posting like tips and guides, how-to videos. So you have to understand this, and that would really take um like almost a week for you to review this, because all you have to do is just read, and watch a couple of videos, which is basically for free online. With the kind of technology that we have, everything is for free, everything is accessible. And before I move on to the next topic, I would like to plug as well our YouTube channel, because we have videos of interviews that would be very helpful if you're anxious when it comes to interviews. We also have videos on like tips and guides on how to excel in your English communication skills, and also how to ace your interviews. So kindly visit our YouTube channel, guys, and subscribe so that you can learn more about virtual assistants. Okay, let us proceed. Next is for content strategy. Content strategy involves changing some of your ways when it comes to posting. So I can say that one strategy is for you to determine what kind of content type would you like to post, whether it can be blog post, videos, infographics, memes, just photo, live streams. That depends, guys, on the brand or the business, or that depends on your client. Next is content calendar. So it's also effective for you to check which time of the day it's very powerful when it comes to engagement. For me, tested and proven that it's really I'm where you can really get a lot of engagements 6 p.m. and above. That's for TikTok, okay? But that depends and that varies on the specific social media platform. And lastly is the brand voice and tone. Define your brand voice and tone to maintain consistency across all platforms. So make sure if you're posting contents like graphic designing, make sure that the designs, the color schemes, the fonts are consistent. It's the same, because you're gonna confuse your viewers if you change colors, if you change logos, if you change certain font styles every posts that you have. So you have to be consistent so that your audience, your engagements would be consistent as well. And lastly is for you to stay updated. Again, if you are going to be entering the social media platform or the social media management industry, make sure that you're updated and that you are well aware of the um, vast changes in the technologies. So that would include industry trends like the music, algorithm changes, media trends, the dances that's currently trending. So that includes it as well. And lastly is continuous learning. So continuous learning would really help you to learn, especially through webinars, stay updated on the current courses that Udemy is offering, industry blogs that virtual assistants um, are sharing online, and it's going to be helpful for you to achieve this kinds of wisdom. So that's all for our social media managing. Can I get a heart, please, guys? Thank you. Thank you so much. Let us now proceed on how to become a successful VA. So, for you to become a successful VA, first is you need to have a suitable environment for your job. So, basically, that is your workstation. So, make sure that you have a good workstation that is clean, peaceful. Make sure that is organized, and make sure that this kind of workstation would really motivate you to work harder. So, for me, I can define a suitable work environment if you have, of course, your table, your equipments, you have your chair, and you have everything on that desk. As long as it's organized and it's clutter free, then you can work in silence. Okay. Next is also to align your priorities with your job. Again, you don't want to mix your personal issues when it comes to your job. Okay, find a balance between your working schedule and personal schedule. Why is this important? Because your work and your basically your daily life and it is just in one location. Okay, so if you don't know how to find that balance, and if you don't know how to do time management, then you would mix these two things together, and that would be very very hassle, and that might cause some conflicts as well with your clients. So make sure before you enter the virtual assistance industry that you align these kinds of things, that you've already um, think about this multiple times, because it's just very difficult if you don't know how to balance these things yet. So that's the reason why I'm explaining it to you, because having your work and at the same time your daily lives on one location, or basically your home, sometimes it can get stressful if you don't know how to manage it. Next is understand your client and communicate accordingly. Okay, so by understanding your client, that means to let them know um, if they have things, or if they have some issues, or if you have some issues. um, Make sure that you would treat your client as what do you call this, so make sure you treat your client as your safe space. Okay, make sure that you communicate with them, what your problems are, or what are the things that's bothering you, or whatsoever. Okay, make sure that you know how to communicate with them, and how to let them know if you have some comments, suggestions, or opinions on something. Okay, so can I get a heart, guys, just for me to make sure that you're still on our Zoom meeting? All right, thank you so much. Okay. Okay, sorry. Let's proceed. Next is develop expertise in particular areas. So by developing these kinds of expertise, then you would be versatile. Okay, by versatile, that means that you don't only know one skill, but you know several skills. And that's very useful. And I know that your client will be happy with that, because they actually get to um, ask assistance from you in some things aside from what you applied for. So it's nice because they know that you're versatile and that you can do a lot of things aside from what you've applied for. And not only that's good, that it's good for your client, but it's also good for yourself, because it's going to be a life skill moving forward, and you can use it on like almost everything, guys. So as we all know that, knowledge cannot be taken from you, and these kinds of wisdom would stay in your mind forever. So it's going to be an advantage, and it would benefit you a lot as well. Next is, let your clients rely on you. Okay? Let them ask questions. Let them communicate with you. Make sure that you are also immediate when it comes to responses. Make sure that you execute the tasks according to what they really need. And make sure that you also ask questions if there's something that you don't understand before saying that it's all good. Okay, we don't want to cause some issues with your clients. Maybe you already submitted this kind of work, but it's not what they want. So make sure to ask questions, guys. It wouldn't really hurt you asking questions, because it would also determine whether your client likes it or not. Okay, so next is manage your time. I think it was already mentioned a couple of times before, but managing your time is a significant skill in the virtual assistant industry. So managing time, because as a virtual assistant, you are what they call this, an independent worker. So compared to offices, you have someone like you can just run to every time that you need help. But as a virtual assistant, you get to work alone, guys. Okay? So that means that you really have to um be they call this, be responsible with your time. You also have to be efficient when it comes to working, so that you can save time as well. And lastly, achieve your best every day. Again, I mentioned earlier that sometimes you don't really get to feel 100% okay every day, but I think it's just nice for you to present yourself 100%. Okay, sometimes even though um you have some challenges, as long as you're present and as long as you're there, it would really mean a lot for your client and for yourself as well, because you know that you've achieved more than what you can do. Okay, so hopefully you've learned with that subtopic that we've explained. Can I get a thumbs up, guys? Thank you so much. And can I get a heart? Let me see those engagements. Okay, so kindly lean on to those emojis, because we'll be using that later on. So what are the do's and don'ts in an interview? So these are the do's. Again, do some research, not only with the company, but also with the position that you're applying for. Prepare the list of references that you have. Next is practice with a friend. Make sure that you practice with a friend or someone professional, so that you get to know your mistakes, you get to know if you're doing good, and you release that tension, and you lessen um your anxiety or your anxiousness when it comes to interviews. So also prepare smart questions for the interviewer. Okay, let's proceed to the don'ts. Here are the don'ts. For the don'ts, do not go unprepared, guys. Okay, do not go unprepared. Also, do not be too casual. Don't read off your screen, and don't lose focus. Guys, I know that some of you have these kind of like practice wherein they memorize the answers to specific questions. I know that sometimes it can be helpful, but not do it every time, because it's just um you know it sounds monotone, and an interviewer would really know if you memorize it or not. Okay, so just be prepared. Just make sure to read questions and prepare answers for it. But if you don't really know how to answer on the spot, then I think it's also okay for you to memorize, but not entirely. Okay, at least, let's say in the middle of an answer, you get to switch some words, and you get to also change some of like your answers, so that you get to experiment with your confidence and how you present yourself as well. So the last topic that we have here is the powerful tools for virtual assistants. So I want you to use the emojis that we have on our Zoom. Okay. So get a heart, give me a heart if in case you know that specific tool. And give me a thumbs up if you're not familiar or if you don't know how to use the tool. Okay. So let's start first with our communication tools for our emailing clients. Who here is familiar of Gmail? All right, I can see a lot of hearts. Okay, I would be very confused if I've seen a thumbs up, because for you to access this Zoom meeting, you have to open your Zoom first. Okay. Okay. Next is, how about Outlook? This one I'm not really familiar with Outlook. I mean, I am familiar, but I really do not use it every day. Okay. So let's try instant messaging platforms. Let's try Slack. Who here is familiar with Slack? Okay. How about for Microsoft Teams? Okay. I think for Microsoft Teams, it's also one of the things that I am seeing a lot of hearts, because during the pandemic, okay, some of the students use Microsoft Teams, especially when we were still conducting online classes before. How about Zoom? Can I get a heart for the Zoom? I know that some of you know how to use Zoom because you're here, basically. How about Skype? How about Skype? Okay, we're seeing hearts still. So I am not sure why I haven't included it, but how about Microsoft, Google Meet, sorry, rather, for video conferencing, Google Meet. Okay. Okay, let us proceed to our task and project management tools. Are you familiar with Todoist? Okay, Todoist. How about Trello? Okay, I'm still seeing a couple of hearts and like. And how about Asana or Asana? I don't know how it's pronounced because I'm not familiar with it. Asana. Okay, let us proceed to calendar and scheduling tools. Okay, we've already tried that. And how about this? Cloud storage and file sharing. Google Drive, guys. Google Drive. Okay, some of you are really using Google Drive. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for your participation. I think I've mentioned it before. If you already commented heart for those tools, then that's good because you already know them. But if you commented or if you use the emoji thumbs up, that is your assignment for you to review this week or for the next following months. Okay, if you commented a thumbs up on that specific tool, make sure that that's the tool that you want to review or you want to search for. Okay, research about it and learn how to use it. It would be very helpful, guys, if next time, I've presented these kinds of tools again and I'm not seeing any thumbs up anymore. Okay, so can I get a thumbs up, guys, before I discuss the available positions? All right, so we will now be discussing the available positions here at Virtudesk. Okay, let's go ahead and start. So we have 3 available positions. We have the GVA, ISA, and EVA. For GVA, that means General Virtual Assistant. For ISA, that's Inside Sales Associate. And for EVA, that's Executive Virtual Assistant. So we'll now start with our GVA position. This is our general virtual assistant, which is $3 per hour. Again, guys, all our positions are for full-time, 8 hours per day, 40 hours per week. So, this position is a non-voice position, guys. Okay, so if you're looking for a job that is non-voice, then this is the perfect position for you. So for our general virtual assistant, we require at least, by the way, while I am explaining our, what they call this, our available positions, our team will be sending a webinar survey. So if you have time, you can go ahead and fill out the survey so that we can choose the next topics out of your suggestions. Thank you. Anyways, going back, a general virtual assistant, we require at least 6 months experience in admin related tasks. That's okay if you don't have any BPO experience, but we just really require, sorry, 6 months experience in admin related tasks. So the training would be 5 days and you will be receiving $70 allowance. The tasks and responsibilities typically would include social media management, blog writing, marketing and collaterals, database management, data entry, administrative tasks, and email management. Again, guys, that means that if these are the tasks and responsibilities showed on the screen, that doesn't mean that you would have to do them everything. Okay? Sometimes the client would just require at least 1 to 2 out of these tasks and responsibilities, so don't worry. Okay, let us proceed to our ISA position, which is our inside sales associate. So for GVA, if the GVA, oh, sorry, the screen is not showing. Okay, screenshot the screen, guys. Apologies. Okay, let us proceed to ISA. This is our ISA position, inside sales associate. This is a voice position, guys. So if GVA is a non-voice, ISA is a voice position. This compared is $4 per hour, still the same, full-time. But this position requires a BPO experience of at least 6 months. And at the same time, we also request or require an admin-related task experience for 6 months as well. For VA experience, it's going to be an advantage if you do have 6 months experience. The training would be 5 days, and the allowance would be $80. Tasks and responsibilities would include outbound cold calling, appointment setting, lead generation and nurturing, CRM management, concierge services, and database management. And lastly, we'll proceed to our last position, which is our executive virtual assistant. This is our EVA position, which offers $5 per hour. However, the combination of this would be a non-voice and voice position. So it's a blended position, guys. And we require everything that you can see on the screen: admin-related task experience, BPO experience of at least 6 months. For VA experience, we don't really require it, but if you do have, it's an advantage. The training would be 10 days, and you'll be receiving $90 allowance. So I've already mentioned the task and responsibilities from the GPA position and ISA. It's just the same with this inside sales or the executive virtual assistant position. Again, another 5 seconds for you to screenshot this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So if you're asking about the application process, first is for you to register to our portal, which is by visiting myvirtudesk.ph and just click apply now. Submit your resume and fill up the necessary information needed. Next is your initial interview, which will be estimated around 24 to 48 hours once you submitted your application. Next is online assessment. So for the assessment, that includes online assessment of typing test, English proficiency exam, IQ and the cognitive exam, and personality test. Once you pass those 3 process, then you will then be endorsed to your final interview. But as you can see on the screen, final interview is only for the ISC and EVA position. If you're going to be applying for the GVA or our non-voice position, you will not be endorsed to a final interview. You will go straight directly to training. And after you finish and pass your training, then you will then be endorsed to your unlimited client interviews. So what are the system requirements? What you need to have is internet services, of course. It needs to be fiber or wired, desktop or laptop, noise canceling headset, and 1080 HD webcam. So why choose Virtudesk? We offer HMO and dental checkups within after 6 months with the client. Paid and sick leaves, paid vacation leaves, performance-based bonus or incentives, permanent work from home, all expense paid company trip every year, guys. So we have 2 trips, all expense every year, mid-year and year-end party. And lastly, of course, we provide free trainings with training allowance. So these are the commonly asked questions. We only hire, guys, again, applicants who's currently residing in the Philippines. Also, the duration of when you'll get hired would depend on your performance during client interviews. We only offer full-time positions. VAs can have multiple clients, but that depends, guys, on your performance. Weekends off. Yes, we do have permanent Saturday and Sundays off. Working hours will be 8 hours per day, 12 paid vacation leaves, 5 paid sick leaves. All incentives are client-based, and we have, of course, our HMO, which is what we need right now, guys. Okay, it's very difficult to get sick, so grab a company that offers HMO. And that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for your availability, and thank you for the 37 participants that we have tonight. I would just like to plug our social media platforms. Our Instagram, jobs.virtudesk. Our Facebook is virtudeskbh. LinkedIn is company/jobs-virtudesk. Our TikTok, which is the one that I'm currently handling, guys, va.jobsph. Our YouTube is jobs.virtudesk. Okay? So, I would like to grab this opportunity, guys, for you to follow our social media platforms. Okay, so as a form of a thank you, I know that you're very thankful. You're welcome. Just kidding. Anyways, as a form of a thank you, guys, it would really mean a lot if you would follow our social media platforms, especially our TikTok, because I am the one who's currently using or managing our TikTok. So you'll be seeing mostly my face there. Okay. If you want to watch videos about mock interviews, tips and guides on how to ace your interviews, and how to improve your social media management skills, your English communication skills, please do follow our or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, guys, comment, subscribe if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and comment done if you followed our TikTok page, guys. You're welcome. How do you read that? Is it Quebec or Quebec? Quebec Violeta. That's a unique name. Leia Alfaro, I just want to follow up on my application. So if you want to do some follow up, please do send an email to jobs@myvirtudesk.com. Crystal, thank you so much. Please, Crystal in Quebec, kindly follow our social media platform, guys. Thank you. Hey, Yoon, thank you. You're welcome. Guys, we will have a webinar replay next Saturday, actually. That's going to be around 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. between those times. Subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing, Virgilio. Do you accept an applicant with the direct client outside? Hello, Ivany. So we do not accept client who has a full-time job outside. We really do give importance to loyalty and 100% commitment. So that's the reason why we also require proof of separation. Thank you, Mary Grace, for subscribing. Thank you, John Lim. Don't follow TikTok account. Thank you. Okay, let me view. I'm checking, okay, if you really followed or not. And kindly, Melissa, share one of our TikTok videos. Thank you. It would really mean a lot. Where can I check my application? You can check your application through email, but if you haven't received any email, please just wait within a couple of 24 to 72 hours because we're really receiving high volumes of applicants. Sayang, may direct client kasi ako. Thanks anyway. You're very much welcome, Ivory. Yes, it's okay. I think it's understood because we are an agency, so we want to make sure that we are only the company that our applicants have. So thank you so much for understanding. But if along the way you want to change careers or if you want to try different companies, don't forget us. You're very much welcome, Cherry. This insight would be very helpful for you guys, so we're just really willing to help. It would really mean a lot, guys, if you really follow their social media platforms. On our Facebook, we announce the daily or sometimes weekly virtual assistants who receives their clients. Guys, I'm seeing a couple of people were raising their hands. If you have specific questions, I forgot to mention it earlier, but you can use our Q&A section, guys. Please use our Q&A section, guys, so that we can reply to you directly and real time. We still have 29 attendees. Okay, so we are expecting at least 29 engagements as well. Please, guys, follow our social media platforms. Follow our YouTube, guys. Please comment, subscribe if you followed and subscribed our TikTok, YouTube. Okay, I'm seeing one follow as well, Jenilyn. And a follow, but I don't understand the name because it's in emojis. Thank you, Leah. Please share one video from our TikTok page, Leah. Thank you. We'll be ending this webinar in 2 minutes. Sayang, di pala nag-accept ng no experience. Marian, if you're asking about experience when it comes to virtual assistants, we accept, Marian. As long as we require a specific experience of BPO or admin-related tasks, 6 months. What if wala po talagang any experience sa admin or BPO experience? Well, that's really the case, Jonalyn. We want someone who has experience of at least 6 months with admin or BPO because we want to hire someone who already has like at least a little bit of a knowledge on how the industry works. Thank you so much for the follow, guys. Okay, we'll be ending this in about 30 seconds, guys. Okay, again, please do not forget to follow our social media platforms. Okay, well, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. Hopefully, I get to see you again next Friday for our TikTok Live and for our webinar replay on next Saturday. So, thank you. Good evening and happy Friday. Happy weekend, guys. Bye bye for now.